I have a best prankster award on my wall at work, just because they gave class clown to someone else who didn't deserve it. So,
Well, in their defense, they may actually be funny.
Hi, this is Eva Habermann, and you're listening to The Usual Saints.
Welcome to a new episode of The Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here this week with Jeremy and Saint. I guess this is Saint's last show before he leaves, so his last show probably of season 3. Guessing he won't be back before season 3 ends. So, bid you adieu. Good luck crabbing. Have fun.
No crabbing, just regular fishing.
Find Cthulhu and Moby Dick and all that stuff.
Okay.
You guys aren't into the deep sea animals? I'm so interested in deep sea in itself, like Challenger Deep and the Mariana Trench, and I know the deepest part of the Atlantic is right near Puerto Rico, I believe.
My captain of my last cruise said we went over that on our coming out of Puerto Rico. He didn't tell us about it until we were past it, but said it was the second deepest place.
Yeah, it just fascinates me because I don't know. We know less about that than what the moon or whatever they say. So not than space, because that would, I think, be impossible. But I don't know. I'm very fascinated with that kind of stuff. That's why the sharks and the blue whales and everything at the museum appealed to me. But let's see. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't think this show is going to be 2 hours like last one, but we'll see. What do you guys want to start with? Who wants to pick a topic? Round robin.
Where are we at? Let me pull it up. I don't know. Do you guys care about Elon Musk and him buying 9.2% of Twitter to become the largest shareholder of Twitter? That just dropped today.
But what does that do? I mean, he's still just a shareholder. He only owns 9% of it, so he'd have to have 40.9% of people vote with him in order to do anything major in the company. And I think it's because he got pissed at the platform or something. He decided to buy 9%. Is that right? I don't know. I didn't read into it too much.
Well, he's the largest shareholder right now, and he's been going off on a rant on do they stifle too much free speech, blah blah blah. So he's the largest shareholder, so I assume that would allow him to maybe position to get a seat on the board, but then I guess he'd just be one of the other board members and stuff like that. But I don't know, it might just be him swinging around. You got billions of dollars and not much to do, just swinging around his money and shit. The stock price, this is what crazy. And I guess this is the part that I find fascinating. It seems like there's just a cult of personality that we've gone into. Like anything Elon Musk does or is into, he seems to have this cult following where people just want to follow his lead. And yeah, he has nothing to take away from, him being a smart businessman, created PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX. Whoa. But again, I know, didn't actually create, there's a lot of other people, engineers who actually came up with all this stuff. And he's kind of just been like the businessman behind it. But immediately the stock price shot up 25% today. And I liken it to when he announced the Cybertruck. You guys remember it, the Tesla Cybertruck or whatever. And then you had to put, I don't know, was it $100 or $1,000 down to reserve it? But you basically gave them your money. And there was no firm confirmed date of when this thing's going to launch. It still hasn't launched yet. So I don't know. I just find the cult of personality fascinating in this day and age, and didn't know if you guys have any thoughts about it.
A Cybertruck, I got a couple of coworkers that put some money down to buy one. I still just can't see myself spending over $100,000 on a car, but there's guys with sports cars that do it. That's not new. As for the stock, it went up like 20% at one point today, which, for the stock market is huge. I know he had to buy in more than 5% of the company. He had to declare to the SEC that he was doing that, but
Right.
not real sure why. It's not exactly Twitter's not exactly a hot commodity right now. It almost seems more like hell, he could sell tomorrow and make a shit ton of money, but I'm not real sure what the plan was.
Some people were speculating that maybe he knows the power he has, and this is just an elaborate pump and dump. You know what I mean? Just he could say, "I'm going to bring changes to Twitter, and this is when you should get in now." And then as soon as the price goes up, just casually sell half your shares and make a tight little profit off of it. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I used to be an Elon Musk follower, but I don't really care anymore. I feel like he's so kind of weird on his stances on things, and he wants to be a celebrity, but I don't know. He founded PayPal. He got hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's made an exorbitant amount since then, and yeah, I like what he seems to be doing for space flight, with SpaceX and everything like that. But, and I love, I've never owned a Tesla, but I love the idea of Teslas. I just need them to go a little bit further than, 200, 300 miles, wherever they can do, especially with no supercharging stations around here. And they need to come down in price a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really care. But I guess if it drove the stock price up, that's nice for the Twitter people, the people who had Twitter stock. I don't think I own any Twitter stock. So we'll see what he does with it. Like I said, I don't think he can do much beyond what you said, maybe get a seat on the board. But I think it's just to fuel his ego, because he's on Twitter all the time. That's where you hear his tweets make news themselves. So just his opinion on things. So I don't know exactly what spurred him to make the decision, but we'll see. I'm sure something will come of it. I'm sure he has reasonings. He's a smart guy. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks.
All right.
But Jeremy, no, I muted you because you're in a loud room. That's all. So I just, whenever you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. I didn't want you to feel like left out or anything. It's just so much better when you're muted. But I also like when you talk sometimes. Jeremy, what's one of your topics that you have on this list that you would like to speak about? You can unmute yourself when you talk. That would be helpful. Oh, let me mute my Apple Watch too. Jeremy, talk.
What?
Talk. Your headphones work the entire time, you fucker. Don't get mad at me because you don't know how to use WD-40 on your door that's downstairs right near you. All I hear is it's like a haunted house. I'm not trying to get haunted house vibes. I'm just trying to do the podcast. Jeremy, what topic would you like to talk about from your list?
So April Fool's was the other day. I was reading a story on anti-work, I think, and a girl walked into work. Boss walked up to her, said, "You're fired," laughed, and walked away. So she packed up her shit and went home, deleted her shit off her work computer, client list or whatever, took her physical copy of it with her and left. And, a couple hours later, starts getting frantic phone calls. "Where are you? Why aren't you at work? You fired me." That was an April Fool's joke. No, you said I was fired. There was no, "Hey, April Fool's," and you walked away. So I went home. And then I guess he proceeded to call her for, a couple hours. And then HR started calling her. And next morning, HR and the CEO are calling her for a meeting. And her boss has been fired for that and other issues, I guess, he was having with the company. And I was just curious if you guys have ever seen or heard of any April Fool's jokes that were good or had, had unintended consequences. I'm just curious if, any stories. That to me, just, you don't fuck with somebody's employment in terms of, that's not a joke saying someone's fired, or, April Fool's joke saying, "Oh yeah, your wife's cheating on you." That's not an April Fool's joke. I guess to me, there's a line for that. It's, April Fool's is maybe a little prank, or, hey, that's somebody's safety or financial well-being, or just seemed over the top.
I would say that in general, I'm kind of less like whatever. The rule now is on April 1st, just stay off of Twitter, stay off of Facebook. Don't believe any of the shit that you see, even though, something serious may happen. Personally, no, I don't know. Like I said, most of them seem kind of corny. And like I said, I'm pretty good about on the lookout to sniff out any bullshit if it happens on that day. I did see one, and kind of go along with what you're saying, Jeremy. A dude proposed to his longtime girlfriend in front of a crowd of people and was just like, I'm finally doing it. Hey, everyone could please calm down. Got to one knee and proposed, and she finally said yes. She was excited. And then 15 seconds later, it was like, hey, y'all, it's April 1st, right? April Fool. And the girlfriend was pissed. You could just tell she was just like not having it. So I don't really get the, I don't know what the joy people get on pulling. I understand the prank, but I don't know. Some of these April Fool stuff seem lame. I mean, like you said, the one with the work, if you don't immediately 5 minutes later or 2 minutes later, tell her it was an April Fool's joke or whatever, it's like, what's the point? You let her go through her entire routine, get all her shit and go home and now he's out of a job. So yeah, never big on it. Memorable ones. I can't really think of a memorable one or one that was good enough for me to, consider it memorable. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever really been big into it. So he should have probably come back immediately. I mean, not even come back. He should not have left. Because, like you pointed out, people can take that stuff seriously. And if this is a true story, and if this woman is going to go back to work for them and she has them by the balls, she's probably going to request a pay increase and all that kind of stuff. So,
her update said that she's getting 4 weeks of vacation that she's taking now. She's being moved to a different team that she's been trying to get to for a while in the company, and she's getting a raise and a promotion out of the deal because I guess they don't want to be sued. Because she's like, oh, I'll just go on unemployment and find a new job if I have to. Fuck him, I'm not. So they had to make it worth her while to come back. And she said all her coworkers now realize that they have a little bit of leverage with the company, so they're all probably going to be asking for raises as well now because the company was worried about losing a employee. Only other prank one I remember, I don't think it was April Fool's, it was just dumb, was the classic one with the Toyota at Hooters, where just fucking idiot. They had a promotion for selling beer, and they said the winner of the promotion for the month will win a Toyota. So girl won, then the manager, comes out and hands her or has her come out to the parking lot and hands her a Toyota doll. And right. She sued and won. They had to buy her a car.
I think that originally started after one of the first original trilogy movies came out. And I'm guessing it had to be an audio form because if you see it in print, it's clearly, unless you're a total moron, don't know how Toyota is spelled. I'm guessing it has to be an audio joke. Like, oh, you're going to win a Toyota.
Sure. I mean, I remember even at the movie theater, hey, the person that sells the most of this candy tonight will, win some of the gift cards we got from Outback or whatever. We used to do shit like that every once in a while. And that was all just, word of mouth. There was no, nothing written down. So I can see how that would be the case. Hey, whoever does this for the month is going to win a prize type thing.
Hey man, if she didn't see it in print and writing, she didn't know what she was getting. I don't know, man. You say she won something in court, but if they said they're going to give her a Toyota and they gave her a Toyota, I don't see how they're at fault.
I don't know. She must have had something. Either at some point they talked about it being a car, or all her coworkers were like, no, we were all under the impression this was going to be a car, but she won.
Like Mike, you're actually amused by this joke.
I mean, I'm amused that I don't know. Like I need that, like the contest we talked about on the last show where I won. I saw it all in print in an email, and I knew what I was trying to win. I wasn't just trying to sell something. Jeremy brings up the movie theater. It's not like we had misleading wording to try to trick people and to try not to give away prizes or anything. We didn't promise to give $100 and
$100,000 or something and hand them a candy bar.
Give them the candy bar. Yeah, there you go. so nothing like that. I don't know. I'm not really big into. I love a good joke, and I don't even mind pranks. I have a best prankster award on my wall at work, just because they gave class clown to someone else who didn't deserve it.
Well, in their defense, they may actually be funny.
Jeremy, he does the zinger and then he meets himself like a like a good boy. But I can't hear his laughter when he mutes himself. As long as you don't have, the old timey door effects in your background. I mean, you're not Fred Norris here. You're not playing sound effects. If you are, I would love it. Like if you could play from your Chromebook, play some of those.
My kid just got home from work and my mother-in-law stays up late. So I can't help that they walk around the house at this point.
You just put some WD-40 on the doors tonight or tomorrow after the show?
I don't know what door that is that was squeaking. I've already done those doors.
Yeah, that was loud. You got a new house. But anyway, all right.
All of them were loud when we moved in.
Let's see. Let's do one more topic before our break. Football's a whole thing, and we'll do deaths and talk about that. Let's do the football. So the overtime rules, the new overtime rules only apply to the playoff games. Each team gets a possession no matter what. What do you guys think? I'm a big fan of it because I've been preaching this forever. I would like to see it in every game, but it's more so applicable in the in the playoff games, especially after this last season where what was that one weekend and all four went to overtime or whatever?
Yeah. It was the greatest playoffs ever was this year. I mean, all the games were close. I think that one weekend, every game was decided by a field goal at the end or whatever. It was phenomenal. But my problem with this, couple problems with it. One, I still think it's just stupid to have a timed overtime in that way because they didn't do anything about the clock. They didn't do anything about the regular season, which is stupid. They didn't do anything about the clock. So yeah, Kansas City went down the field and scored, 30 seconds, but there's teams that'll just grind the ball down the field, take 8.5 minutes. Yeah, the other team's going to get the ball, but they got a minute and a half left. Just seems like they could have done a better job of this, whether it's an untimed series for each team type thing, for the first two so that, as long as you keep getting first downs, you keep the ball and you still have a shot. Or like I said, I still prefer the college method where everybody, you get a couple, even if you make it, starting at the 15 instead of the 25 and just seems more fair to me. More defense has more of a play in that than current overtime rules, but is what it is.
Baby steps, Jeremy. Baby steps.
No, I'm pretty much in agreement with Jeremy here. I have this game cast on right now. Let's see. University of North Carolina is at 69 and University of Kansas 72. I guess
I don't need to know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it when we're done.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I won't tell you that. Sorry. But no, I pretty much agree with you, Jeremy. Like if they ain't changed the time rules, I guess, I don't know. I guess they just want more drama. I guess they looked at it and says, the team that gets the ball first, even with these new overtime rules, tends to win. So I guess it's a step in the right direction. But like you said, just eliminate the clock if that's going to be the case. Like you said, that it might be a team just try to run out the clock or whatever. So, Band-Aids, baby steps, but I think the college way, especially maybe keep it the way it is during the regular season, but in the playoffs, I think it'd be much more exciting through the college way. Give the teams, what I would do is each team starts with the ball at the 25-yard line and you have to score and you have to go for a 2-point conversion every time. So just eliminate the kicks. You get it, go for 2 points. Other team, touchdown, 2 points, and you just go from there. So,
see, I know there's an argument that, hey, more people are going to get hurt because it's more plays. And I don't mind the kickers, especially in the NFL right now. Moving the extra point back has actually had an effect on the amount of conversions. There's been quite a few that, used to be automatic. Now it's still, I think in the 90% they're making them, but it's not near the perfection rate the completion rate they had for this. But the injury thing, I get that. But it's football. I mean, if you're going to legislate to not have injuries, why are we still having kickoffs? And, why not just put the ball on the 25? Because that play, more people get injured on than almost any other one, but we're still doing it. So if you're trying to avoid people getting injured, there's other ways to do it rather than trying to play less football, I guess. You're just trying to find out which team is best. I don't know how else to do it but playing.
Right. No, agreed.
And we'll see how it comes in next season. I mean, obviously, it won't take any effect until January. So we'll see if it even applies then or if teams just steamroll other teams like has happened in the past. But if we have another weekend like in January with that was the divisional round, right? That wasn't the championship. Yeah, it was a divisional round. Yeah. So if we have another weekend like the divisional round this year, it could make it for better games and less critique from people. So we'll see. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about a little bit more NFL. We'll talk about some deaths. We'll talk about auto blow, whatever you guys want to talk about.
By the way, it was 92.4 down from a high of 99.4 before they moved the extra point back. So it went down 7 percentage points. So 1 out of every 12 or so was getting missed, which is higher than I would have thought it was.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back. You'll listen to Usual Saints.
This is Michaela Lee, and you are listening to The Usual Saints. Because you're cool, and you should know that. Hype!
Not for you, that's what I can say. I just had to wait for that to record. Who put all the moves on here? Welcome back to The Usual Saints. Mike D here with Slate and Jeremy. Who put all the moves on here? I mean, there have been a lot of moves, obviously, and that's not even all of them. Let's talk about what's his name from Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. You got Bill Cosby going to the Browns. You got Von Miller to the Bills, it says here. Oh, you like my Bill Cosby joke? Thanks, I appreciate it.
It's more of a Ben Roethlisberger. Cosby got charged, Roethlisberger didn't.
That's true. But, Baker Mayfield, I still don't have any news on this guy. I mean, the websites are trying to make you like they're doing clickbait. Like I saw a headline today said, this Cleveland quarterback is out and is going to like another team. And it turned out like it was like a third string quarterback going to help out the Raiders or something like that. So they're just stringing this motherfucker along. He obviously wants out.
But yeah, then they don't want him. Is there anybody left for him? I mean, there's a girl that makes some funny videos on TikTok about the NFL, and she had one about him, and he's like, yeah, I think Indy would be a really good fit for me. And then the next person says, Matt Ryan to Indy. And he's like, son of a bitch. I mean, the guy, he's just, the merry-go-round has stopped, and, where's he going? The music stopped. There's no chairs left. I don't know what his plan is at this point. He makes too much money to be a backup. I don't know how you send him somewhere else. I mean, his contract's there, and they cut him, and someone else can sign him for less.
They got this on Watson. Is he officially cut, or are they still looking for a trade, or they tell him
still there
that he can go look for a free agent trade or whatever? Because my deal is this. Of course, this is the most Clevelandist thing to ever Cleveland, whatever, right? It's like, how do you not already have a trade if you're going to bring in Deshaun Watson? How do you not already have a trade for Baker Mayfield? You just assume that you're going to get. And once you do this, you put the leverage in the hands of all the other teams because they're like, well, we know you have to trade them, so we're going to give you shit for them. 2, who the fuck wants to trade for Baker Mayfield in the first place? It's like, I literally would rather start with someone for the draft than to bring in Baker Mayfield unless he was going to be my backup. Like, there's nothing about that dude that screams out, we have to give up draft picks. Now, again, I can't think of every single team, but I'm like, who's desperate enough? But again, even if I was desperate, I'd be like, yeah, Cleveland, we're not going to give you shit. We're basically taking this guy's contract off your hands, so we're not going to include anything. It's just such a strange position. 3, I think Baker Mayfield has done himself no favors. I know he's kind of like tried to clean up his image a little bit and tried to ingratiate himself to the city of Cleveland. But it's like the biggest indictment of him is that video that, who's the receiver that went to the Rams?
Odell Beckham?
Odell Beckham Jr. And his dad put a video on Instagram just showing how many times he was open and Baker was just missing him. And the whole vibe, you would get that Baker was trying to say, like, he wasn't the problem. It was Odell Beckham. If I have to keep staring down one receiver, it's like, no, dude's a top-level talent receiver in this league, and you couldn't find him the football. It's you. And I hope this is just a reality check for some of these dudes. Life comes at you pretty fast, and he might have thought that he had a better position in Cleveland when obviously everyone can see that he was the biggest issue. So, yeah, I have no idea where he's going to go. Maybe literally can't think of where. I mean, maybe the Dolphins do something stupid because they're known for that. But I think we're going to try to ride this Tua train for 1 year before we could give him the boot. But yeah.
I love the memes of Tua, and it's like, fuck it. Tyreek's down there somewhere, and he's bumping back like he's going to throw it.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with the Dolphins this year. That's craziness. I mean, there were a lot of big moves, and I don't even usually follow off-season moves, but I mean, fucking from playing Madden a little bit more, like I was playing right before the show tonight. You get these guys like Tyreek Hill's on my Madden team, and it'll be interesting to see if they make a difference on these teams with these quarterbacks. I mean, because the quarterback is such a pivotal position. I don't see Baker Mayfield doing anything else this year, especially I know Deshaun Watson's not facing any charges right now, but the NFL could still suspend him. I think that's kind of what's assumed is going to happen. I think they're paying him like $1 or $1 million this year out of his $230 million contract. That's the way they structured it. I forget which one. I know it's a big discrepancy. Maybe one of you two knows the actual answer. It's one something.
So I just looked it up, and Mayfield has a guaranteed $18.8 million for this year. So the Browns' pretty much only option is to figure out how much they have to pay Baker Mayfield to go away and release him as a free agent. Make a deal to, hey, we'll pay you $10 million and you'll be an unrestricted free agent when we cut you, type thing. If you let us cut you, or if you restructure the deals so we can get rid of you, and then you can go get a job somewhere else. So they're going to have to pay him to go away. It's pretty much their only option at this point because, like you said, they got Deshaun Watson, they signed Jacoby Brissett. Hey, guess what? Everybody in the league knows you don't want this guy now. It's kind of like, taking every option off the table. Hey, we're not going to do this. Well, then why the fuck would I negotiate with you? You got nothing. You gave me all your leverage. You already told me you're not going to do this. Kind of like when, the state says teachers aren't allowed to strike or something. Well, then why would the school board even negotiate with them? They know they're not going anywhere. You won't let them.
Right.
Von Miller to the Bills. Is he even much of an impact player anymore? I mean, I don't know. I'm more excited about what some of the moves the Steelers have done, but I'm also
surprise.
Wonder why.
Shut up. Yes, it's true, but I'm just saying more than Von Miller. Like Von Miller a few years ago was like an impact player, on the Broncos and everything. But where was he last? On the Rams, right? So the Rams. Yeah. I guess, did they trade him or was he a free agent? He went to the Bills.
I think he just had a 1 year sign or 1 year deal or whatever.
I mean, the Bills are already pretty damn good. We'll see what happens next season.
Well, they needed some defensive help. They let them go down the field in 37 seconds or something.
Yeah. Did Cole Beasley go anywhere? That gap-toothed, missing teeth, anti-vax motherfucker. Did he get hired anywhere?
I think so. Did he go to the Saints?
Saints, all right. Let Jameis or whoever they draft, because the Saints just switched some draft picks with the Eagles to move up a few spaces or get an extra pick in the first round. So I'm guessing they're going to go for a quarterback.
I guess they released him. I guess he's a free agent. He's still a free agent.
Who the hell? Who's getting drafted this year though? There's no
quarterback.
There's no marquee quarterback that I can think of from college this year that they're all excited about or anything.
You got the 2 or 3 that they're talking about, and then no one's overly excited. Like you said, there's Kenny Pickett, who but there's every article I read, and it's not just on a Pittsburgh website. It's like CBS Sports, but they all say the Steelers are going to get one of them. It's like Malik Willis, who has, I guess, the best arm, but has he has a really bad quarterback pressure rating. And this is all really nerdy, and I don't even follow this kind of shit. But apparently he has a 2 something quarterback pressure rating. So when that dude faces any pressure, he just gets fucked. But then you have Kenny Pickett, like I said, from Pittsburgh. I think there's one more dude. But yeah, I mean, it's not a huge class. So basically you got any team who wants to have just someone from the draft that's a quarterback. They're going to be fighting over these guys, maybe leapfrogging each other in the actual draft in a few weeks. So we'll see what happens there, I guess. But I mean, no one that I'm overly excited about for the Steelers. And, they have Mitch Trubisky, but he has to fight for the spot against Mason and Dwayne Haskins. So
looking up right now. Yeah, there's looking at there's not very, like you said, the one from Pittsburgh, the quarterback, he seems to be, I mean, the one they said that has like the highest floor, who they think is there. But it was Malik Willis. He played at Liberty, which I don't even know where that's at. He's only 6'1", 290, basically my size, maybe an inch taller than me, 219 pounds. They say he has the highest ceiling. I mean, he can throw the rock, but yeah, any kind of pressure gets on him. And they're also saying that, I don't know, they're saying that Baker Mayfield may go to Seattle. And I'm like, good luck with the fans there, man. I mean, I live there, going from Russell Wilson to Baker Mayfield. Ugh.
Isn't Liberty where, doesn't Jerry Falwell own Liberty University, or is that a different? Is that a different?
I think that's different.
Okay.
I went to that campus. I don't think it's Liberty. It's something else. We went there for a Frisbee tournament, and we get there and they have like a list of rules for us that, hey, you can't do that. No drinking, no swearing, no, like, you can't take your shirt off. I mean, they had a list of rules for, an ultimate Frisbee tournament where majority of the people playing are stoners. And, historically a hippie sport. We had a list of rules, and we get there and like, I wonder how this is going to go over, because we all had our nicknames on the back of our shirts, and mine was Head, obviously, but we had a guy named God, we had a guy named Jesus, we had a guy named Fuck. We're like, well, this ain't going to go over real well. That's what's on the back of their jerseys, and that's the only jerseys we got. So not sure what you want us to do. But yeah, that was awesome.
It's a total interesting side thing that we need to talk about is Jeremy's ultimate Frisbee past. I don't know if you know about that.
No. Really?
I was a lot skinnier back then.
Oh.
Lot skinnier.
What's his name? Famous YouTuber, MKBHD. He's a big time ultimate Frisbee, does it professionally too, plays for like the New York team, whatever. That's all I know about
There's actually a team in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tampa Cannons or something like that. Actually, Sarasota used to host the Nationals every year, the Polo Grounds in Sarasota.
Jeremy could have gone pro, but he blew his ACL, and he was done.
No. Jeremy's always been slow and short. Jeremy played for fun.
Yeah, I was about to say, most of those guys look like real tall and lanky, like they're diving catches and stuff in the highlights.
Yeah, going and watching some of those guys play at Nationals, there's a famous video of this one guy out of Colorado literally jumping over another guy, like literally just jumps right over his ass to catch the Frisbee. It's like, what the fuck? Like, wasn't a short guy either. He just went right over him. It was on Sports Center that day. It was awesome.
And these sports that Jeremy plays, I can't get into.
Played for the Colorado Mama Birds.
The what?
That was the name of the team.
I tried playing ultimate Frisbee with Jeremy a few times. I just can't control the Frisbee, so like I'm totally useless. And then
that's all I was good at. I'm not fast or tall, so I could throw the Frisbee. That was my job.
You try to have me hit a golf ball off a tee. I can't do that either. Like, you need to pick something that I can actually play a little bit of. That was some street football with a Nerf football that I can throw 300 feet down the.
We got some pickleball courts in my neighborhood. You want to come by and try it?
Is that thing where I'm hitting a ball at someone's face really fast? That sounds scary.
Pickleball? It's a wiffle ball.
Oh, well, that still hurts.
It's like a mini tennis court.
If they still scary for Mike.
You've had balls coming at your face fast.
I don't want to wear a mask or glasses, safety goggles, as I saw on How It's Made the other day. So no, I'll skip pickleball, but thank you.
Pickleball? No, man. No. Maybe you're thinking racquetball, which is fun as well. Racquetball, you'd probably want to wear glasses. Watch the guy have to go to the hospital because he got hit in the eye. Shouldn't turn around to look at the ball.
So, Jeremy, are you into like disc golf and stuff like that?
See, I've never really played disc golf. I don't know. Just haven't. I know guys that do. I just never got into it.
Oh man, I had a few buddies, and disc golf became their fucking their life. Like disc golf became, because they lived in I guess whatever park or neighborhood park they had, and I guess they had a wooden area. So whoever was in charge was like, "Yeah, we'll make a disc golf course." And boy, it was, "What are you guys doing?" Up. Getting a 12-pack, going out to play the disc golf. And, they have special Frisbees, and this is my putter, but this is my driver. I'm like, that's a Frisbee. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
that's too sports nerdy for me. I can't figure all that shit out. Jeremy, what do you want to talk about the Bucks? Because you put that on
wasn't
before
me.
you. What?
I didn't put that one on the list.
You put the Bucks on the list, Saint? I don't know. It wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
The only thing I can think of is
I assume there's a couple things to talk about them. Who put fucking Tom Brady? Because we can get that in at the same time.
Because of course he had to unretire and come back.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just interested in him, but anyway. Yeah, so you got Tom Brady coming back. Not real sure what. I mean, he went over to England, watched Ronaldo score a hat trick, and decided it was time to play football again. I'm not real sure what inspired him to want to come back. Maybe he kind of got forced into making the decision a little earlier than he wanted to coming out of the season and then changed his mind. I'm not sure there. I know there's been people trying to start the story that he had something to do with Bruce Arians retiring. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the details there. I mean, I know it's been denied by a couple people, but usually if there's some kind of story like that, there's something to it.
Right.
Happy with the defensive coordinator taking over as the head coach. I'm good with that. He's seems like a good guy, good coach. So hopefully he'll do well for the team.
Well, I mean, you kill metaphorically, I guess maybe literally, you kill a whole bunch of stones, kill a whole bunch of birds with those stones. First is he retires, right? But then he goes over there and goes sees that soccer match with the owners of the Bucks because they have invested interest in some soccer team over in Europe, whatever.
Manchester United.
At Manchester U. And then, so the going theory is that Tom wanted to play, but he didn't want to play for Arians, and he was asking for a trade. And if the Bucks owners are like, no, we don't want to trade, but how about we, try to move on from Arians as a coach? And Arians, he's a really good football coach, but he has a bit of a douchey style to him. Hands on the players, the shit that he says, kind of reminds me of a smarter Rex Ryan, like a Rex Ryan who can actually, do offense and defense and just one side of the ball. But they also, hire a minority head coach. Like you said, this guy, defensive coordinator, probably deserved a shot to be a head coach.
He's been a head coach before.
Right.
Didn't work out.
But again, there's a lot of cases. I will always say this. Fucking what's his name? Todd? Was it Todd? What's his name? Case?
Todd Bowles?
No. For the Miami Dolphins. He was a coach for the Dolphins. Then he was a coach for the Jets. What's his name?
No, Adam Gase.
Adam Gase. You have a guy who is an offensive coordinator, never a first-time coach, gets a head coaching job in Miami, pretty much shits the bed here, and then immediately gets another head coaching job up in the New York Jets. Now, you can say that the Jets are a dumpster fire organization, and I would agree with you because I fucking hate the Jets. But there's just too many instances of guys getting second chances or guys even getting fired, and within a couple of years they're back in position. So I do think that Arians stuff. And I think Arians, he has health issues too. So I think this was, instead of them letting him go, I think for them to get Tom to come back, it was, hey, if we can kind of let Bruce, because the timing doesn't work out. If he was going to retire, he would retire after the season was over or, had made an announcement before. The abruptness of it and where they are in, right before the draft, all this stuff going on, it seems more like they gave him an easy exit out. Hey, we're not going to say you're fired. We're going to say it was all your decision on your terms. We're going to keep, the same staff and, they get Brady. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. And Aaron, I think he's still going to be, have a position within the organization. So I think Tom didn't want to play for him anymore. I think Tom kind of felt like last season was on the coach from everything, from reports that came out, me just being in the Tampa area from what I heard. So that's what I think happened.
All right. Yeah. Well, fuck Tom Brady. And, he's back apparently. We'll see what happens.
Is that going to be the title of this episode?
It's a good one. Fuck Tom Brady. I'll title it. That's one of the things. That's
maybe Roethlisberger comes back from retirement too. You never know.
No. No.
He couldn't walk up to the podium at this point as many times as they let him get sacked the last couple of years.
Talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about. He's not been sacked that many times recently. Now, in his early career, he was fucking the sack king. Like, he just sack, get up, fucking throw the ball, win a Super Bowl. But nah. Recently, this year, the O-line was, basically all new guys. That kind of sucked. But it wasn't, as bad as when he was younger. So let's take a quick break. We'll talk about some more stuff from the C Block when we come back. You can listen to Usual Saints. We'll be right back.
Hi there, this is Romanda Brockett, a registered dance movement therapist, and you're listening to the Usual Saints podcast. That means if you're tuning in with underage listeners, you might want to be careful. There's some language in here.
I was going to say, I know we're going to talk about deaths. I don't know if it kind of dwells into politics. We're going to talk about all the shit that's going on with Disney, but we don't have to. I mean, if we just want to be deaths.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we can talk about whatever.
It gets all upset if we don't say it. This is the
Usual Saints, and
he's over there shaking right now because it wasn't said first.
I'm not shaking, but speaking of work, hey, Saint, I don't know if you want this out there. You don't have to tell me or not. I just got an email. I get the job alerts still, and I got 2 new video jobs in Melbourne, Florida. And one of the jobs, this is just like when I applied for my current job. One of the jobs seems to have nothing to do with video. It says production worker onboard fishing vessel in Alaska virtual hiring event. Oh, maybe that's the video part, the virtual hiring event. North Star Fishing Company, $3,500 to $5,000 a month. Individuals with experience working in manufacturing, production, construction, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not going to go work in the middle of an ocean. I'm scared of the water.
I was about to say that sounds like, they're a fishing company looking for people. And if you think about it too, that like 35 to $5,000,
that's not that great.
That's probably a bunch of bullshit. And, it's not. And they're going to say, yeah, you get that, like, I don't know, after the numbers they give out to guys coming up there. What they don't tell you is, yeah, you got to pay for your gear and a whole bunch of shit. And you're not going to make that until you get up to like my level. And I've been there for fucking like 70, like, fuck out of here. But
did they say $3,500 a week or a month?
I think that's
a month.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Jeremy's like, how do you peons survive on that kind of money?
I know, seriously.
I mean, guys coming off the, guys coming out off the street, and if you're willing to come and work, but yeah, even those numbers are a bit, I don't know exactly. Like you said, they don't, when you first go up there, you don't even make a full share. You're making like 0.8 of a share because they're not going to, they don't know. We have guys quit after 2 or 3 days. It's like, be real. But yeah.
All right. So you wanted to talk about the what were you bringing up? Oh, the politics, the Disney thing. So that's out there. Disney's made a firm stance against Florida's, because of the Don't Say Gay bill, which, in itself, I don't want to say I agree with the Republicans because I don't. I just don't feel like that any elementary school would be discussing, in 3rd grade or below, would be discussing sexuality. And if it came up, why it's not the unhealthiest thing to kind of address with someone. Americans are such prudes because of all the puritanical religious beliefs that came over with them, and, I mean, even me, like, anytime there's nudity or sex or anything, and I have a 15-year-old daughter, it's like, hey, I don't know if we're going to see that. But now my wife has kind of taken to the point, like, yes, you can watch this movie, but just be aware there's boobs in it. And so, it's kind of up to Sophie. Does she want to see that with her parents in the room? So she just decides that kind of thing. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of a big thing now.
We could talk. It wasn't the law per se that I wanted to get into. I mean, we can, but we could steer away from politics. I was just talking about the, Reedy Creek? Is it?
Yeah.
That's Reedy Creek.
Reedy Creek, just the, I found myself kind of like, conflicted about it because on one hand, it's, they've had it since 1967. It's basically they run their own. They have their own. They basically run themselves. Municipality there, yeah. So they run themselves. It was supposed to, the initial vision was supposed to be when Epcot was supposed to be developed, but it changed. So basically, if Disney wants to, build a ride or whatever, they basically has their own municipality so they can get all the, permits and do everything themselves. And just the idea that might be taken away from them. And then who would get it? I guess maybe Orange County. I just thought it was just an interesting, only reason I say is because it's like, well, should a business have that much say so in basically be able to govern themselves? But then I also look at it like, well, it was basically swampland till Disney decided, hey, we're going to come in here. And you probably couldn't really quantify how much money in business that they brought to that area pretty much from Disney. So, I'm kind of both sides of the fence of it, but I just thought it was real interesting that, well, I we don't have to get in a pod. I totally disagree with the reason why it come in. If there was like a fair reason, like, hey, maybe we should reevaluate the situation just based on like normal political stuff, not basically as punishment. Hey, Disney, you don't agree with what we're saying, so maybe we should punish you with this. I definitely don't agree with that. But if it was like just a normal conversation, like, hey, should this company still be allowed to basically run their own city? And I do see the plus and positive of it, because then I was looking up and I say, well, it basically was just a giant swampland until Disney came and invested billions upon billions. So that's all.
And that's kind of where it is, because I mean, it didn't come up in the course of normal conversation, or it didn't come up like on a renewal or anything like that. It came up as Governor Death Santis, put on his little pacifier and started crying about being a little bitch. And, oh, you're going to say you're against the Don't Say Gay bill and you're going to come out against it? Well, maybe we'll take, your ability to run your own thing like you've been doing for the past 60 years. So fuck that guy.
You gotta assume that Universal's on the DeSantis' side with this, because they got to go through the city, through a normal process for all their permits, and Disney does not.
Yeah,
they still got to build things to code, but the permitting process, when you own the whole municipality is you, the permitting process, I'm sure, is a lot easier.
Right, and that's why I said under normal. If this was just like you said, a renewal, or we just came up on the normal legislative session, I would be like, well, maybe, we should look at this. Maybe this is something. Is it fair for Universal or any other parks, or, does Disney have an unfair advantage? I just hate that something like this that I would normally just be interested in came through a political, like, hey, and the whole thing with Disney, it's like, I guess I'll get into it. The whole thing with Disney, and again, I'm not getting into the law itself, even though I don't agree with it. I don't get in the law itself. It's like people don't realize the whole thing with Disney is they kind of had to, because it comes down to talent. And it's like, I think a lot of people don't understand that, as much as they don't think, I think LGBTQ plus people disproportionately in the entertainment fields. I mean, Pixar came out with their own statement saying we totally are against this law. Marvel Studios came out against it. And whatever people may think, whether you agree or disagree, it's like when you're dealing with Hollywood talent, not to mention the people in the costumes or the cast members who have to wear those suits, you're going to have disproportionately people in who are either LGBTQ or LGBTQ friendly. So it's like Disney has to make a decision, like, we can't replace all these people. And, it probably would have been better for them to just try to just be quiet and be completely neutral and just deal with it in-house, tell all their in-house people. But, I do sometimes think like maybe we kowtow to corporations too much. And this would have been a situation where I may be in favor of like, hey, maybe Disney shouldn't just have special privileges. I just hate the way it came about, as like a retaliatory punishment type deal. So that's all.
Well, we'll see what happens with it. Hey, they can build their own nuclear power plant, Jeremy, so you can go work there if they ever decide.
They will not be doing that too. I thought, am I missing? That's something to look into, but I heard a few people say, is that something Disney looked into at one time, creating their own nuclear power plant?
Yeah, when they were building, I'm sure they did. It was probably right around the right time for when all that was happening.
I think it would have been dope working at a Disney nuclear power and get all the Disney.
Well, they have their own power plants. They're just not nukes.
Right.
They got their own power plants back there. But
I'm saying, what if they were like, you know what? Why don't we just go nuclear? Fuck it. Save some money.
Shit. Fuck it. I think the evacuation plan would be a problem for them, but because I-4 is a gridlock to begin with. So where are you going to send people? If shit goes wrong.
Before we get off Disney, I was looking at going to Disney in a few weeks here because my cousin's going to be there for her school, and it's a Monday.
How's your cousin?
Bethy. She's gonna be there chaperoning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, true.
Sorry. I was like,
that's fine. No. But it's a Monday and I can't even get a fucking ticket. It's like grayed out with a slash through it.
Yeah.
So
the parks, and I this might just be, from everyone COVID plans and everything, but the parks have been packed. And every vlogger is just like, usually there's like a couple of quiet seasons. I guess we'll have to see what's going on when it hits August and September. But from January on, it's been every day, Monday through. And there's been like 1 or 2 Sundays where like, I guess people were just all catching their flights out of Orlando, where the parks have been kind of like chill, but every day, spring break, I ended up there on Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, and it was completely, and they were still saying that they weren't even at capacity. I'm like, well, what the fuck does capacity look like? Jesus, it was packed the second day I was there.
Saw something about the cruise industries seeing a huge uptick in bookings, and their prices are going to go up because I think, like you said, everyone couldn't go anywhere for 2 years. All of a sudden, everybody wants to do what they can and get the hell out, do something.
No, I may too. Shit, if I ditch this fucking shit and become a Disney blogger, fuck.
Let's get to Mike's favorite topic of the week: death.
Well, this is probably where we'll end for the week. But so we have the 3 deaths that I can remember, and if you guys remember any, if you find out any other ones, let me know. Did you see that? This is totally separate from the 3 we're going to talk about. That guy, there's a rapper. Maybe Jeremy can help me with this guy's name. Gnu. Okay, Saint knew it. I don't know. I just didn't want to be racist and say that Saint would know it.
That's fine. No. These new rappers, man, I have no feelings whatsoever. You could mispronounce their names, and they do these like, LGB shorty. They got these weird kind of like clicks and shit. I have no love for them. So whatever. Be racist if you want.
Did you see the news about his funeral? How they propped him up, standing up at his funeral, and that's what they do now, Jeremy. You didn't know that? Like, I've seen this for other people, not just rappers. Like, I've seen people like you can get your sports jersey and be propped up like you're watching a TV at the game, and that's going to be you at your funeral. So they're going to embalm you, sit you up.
This wasn't his funeral though. This is some Weekend at Bernie's shit where they brought his body, dressed him up, and he was at a nightclub, and the club went on as if they're just having a normal Friday, Saturday night. And this dude's body, fully decked out, is on stage. And it's like his send off, like he was at the club, some Weekend at Bernie shit. Now, there are some cultures that they do this. I remember watching The Wire. You remember watching The Wire where they would take the cops who, if a cop died, they would actually bring them to their cop bar and they would have the body there. And it's like everyone's toasting, like, usually if they died under like natural causes, not if they got shot or something, but they would actually have the body for a night and they would all drink at a bar. This is kind of like that, but yeah. Dude's on stage, propped up, decked out, and it's an embalmed body. And everyone at the club is just having, I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, hey, you new kids, man. Y'all on some new shit. I'd have been like, yeah, this ain't the club for me.
Jeremy, don't worry. When you die, we're going to drop you into one of the cooling towers at your work, like Alien 3 style. We're going to wrap you up.
We don't have a cooling tower.
Whatever the fuck those big things are. I don't know what heating tower.
Then there's a roof on them. That's the containment building. We don't have a cooling tower.
I'm going to crack open the fucking roof and I'm going to drop you in, whether it's cement or anything else, and you're going to hit the bottom. Okay.
All right. There's never mind.
Don't talk to Jeremy. Just like Homer Simpson, he is a well-trained, very experienced nuclear power plant employee.
I've never melted the simulator. I'm just saying.
All right, so let's see. Who kept changing the name? Because I put Razor Ramon died, and someone changed it to Scott Hall. So one of you motherfucking wrestling fans.
I think it was me. Actually, I think that was me.
Well, you got a problem with using his real name. What the hell?
That's fine. I mean, I guess he's known by multiple different names for different, depending on the wrestling organization he was in. But Razor Ramon's how I knew him when I was a kid,
You knew him as Razor Ramon. Okay. So that's not what he's most famous for, though.
Yeah, NWO.
Razor Ramon was early.
Yeah.
One of the founding members of the NWO.
He was, the only reason I remember him is because, of course, you get the whole thing, is wrestling real, wrestling fake. And, it was about the time I got back into wrestling. I was like, yeah, it's mostly fake, but the guys. And then I remember watching WCW. I'm like, Scott Hall. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I'm like, that's Razor Ramon. These motherfuckers lie about everything. I distinctly remembered I had to be like, 14 or 15. Like I said, I knew wrestling wasn't real, but just the fact that I was like, wait a minute, this dude created a whole different, no accent whatsoever. I remember being 14, 15, that blowing my mind. I'm like, what the fuck?
I remember that being a huge story because they signed him, Kevin Nash, and X-Pac or whatever. Signed all three of them away from WWE or WWF at the time to WCW, and that was a huge deal at the time. Now WCW doesn't even fucking exist anymore.
WWE won.
Did I ever tell you guys the story of how I went when I was a kid? We went down to West Palm. We watched some wrestling. The main event was Ultimate Warrior versus Andre the Giant. So that's how long ago it was. Andre the Giant he was at the very tail end of his career. Like he was like basically a prop at that point. So we get to the main event. We're there. I think me, my dad, maybe my brother. I don't know. And my mom, I don't think, was there. Maybe I'm wrong. And so Andre the Giant's waiting in the ring. We're waiting for this motherfucker, Ultimate Warrior, to come to the ring. Waiting. Motherfucker doesn't show up. Eventually, he comes running down the thing, jumps through the ropes. Like he doesn't slow down at all. Gets in, knocks Andre the Giant down, pins him, and runs right out the fucking ring. The thing was over in 10 seconds. And so that was left a really bad taste in my mouth, even as a kid, to see we waited all night for that 15 seconds of action. What the fuck was that? I didn't know if you guys had any personal experiences like that. And obviously now if that kind of thing happened with the internet and everything, I think it would be all over the place. Like, what the fuck? Why did we waste our money? I think now they kind of put on a little bit more of a show for it because they realize how valuable their fans are because of how delusional they are about it being a real sport.
So there's some weird stuff lately. At WWE now, instead of doing pay-per-views, I don't know if they still do the pay-per-view part, but now it's carried on the Peacock network. So if you have Peacock, you can watch their what used to be their pay-per-views because WrestleMania was actually on this weekend, 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday. And they showed the retirement of who I think was probably one of the best wrestlers of all time, The Undertaker. Guy was way too athletic for a guy his size. I mean, walking across the ropes and shit, that's insane.
Or his age. He was doing it for 40 years.
Yeah, they had him. He did his retirement. The Steiner brothers, Vader, who's dead, and they had
he died in episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Come on.
See, this is why you didn't get Class Clown.
Yeah.
See, that's funny.
Yeah, the Taker and a bunch. I think they moved to Peacock. Well, it's I don't know. It could just be Vince McMahon getting old, but they've been. It feels like they've been looking to sell for a long time. I think Vince is just over it. I think. I don't think his siblings or whatever, or not his siblings, his children. I don't think Shane. I don't keep up with it like I used to, but I just find the business part interesting. But they
both still work for it. She was they had the daughter came out to start Saturday's show. They had her husband Triple H came out and left his slippers in the ring and started Sunday's show. And then Vince McMahon actually got in there and wrestled against some guy I've never heard of. Nope, Pete McAfee.
Oh,
punter for the Colts.
Didn't he get stunned?
At the end, yeah. Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee, that's it.
Yeah, he's stone cold stunned everyone.
Right.
Including Pat McAfee, even though he came out and he stunned everybody. He drank 18 beers. Well, he had 18 beers thrown out to him, and they must have mentioned that it was his beer 7 times. So that must have been part of his deal to show up both nights was they would mention his Steve Austin broken skull beer or whatever shit.
Right.
But yeah, they must have mentioned that shit 7 times each night. That must have been part of the deal.
He's another one, man. Have you ever gone back and seen his early where he was stunning Steve, whatever?
Oh yeah.
Before he was, it's just it's funny how some people, and I guess maybe even The Rock a little bit. I mean, Dwayne Johnson, but it is funny how some people, they completely become this persona that's completely made up. Like the Stone Cold Steve Austin persona is made up, and now that's who he is. I guess he can say that that's who he's always been, but yeah, when you see that stunning, what was it? Yeah, he was in WCW. It was a stunning Steve, and I don't think his last name was Austin even.
Just look at Sting. I mean, he was all neon and blonde hair, and
right,
and then came back with the black hair and
the black hair and the white face paint and everything, and it also reminds me of like Larry the Cable Guy. I mean, a little off the topic, but how Larry the Cable Guy was like a normal comic, and Larry the Cable, that was just like a bit that he would call into an Orlando radio station every day. He's from West Palm. That's when he started most of his stand-up. And then he just became Larry the Cable Guy all the time. Like, that's who I am now. So, but shout out to Stone Cold. I'm guessing that's probably his last time in the ring, Triple H. But it seems like they've been, every month you just hear like massive layoffs. They're just getting rid of massive talent. And it just seems like everything they've been doing, they had their own network, but then now they're trying to, do a deal with Peacock and NBC. It seems like they're just building everything they want, like a big media company, just buy them up for, if UFC went for $4 billion, they could probably ask for about the same and just get out. So,
well, it's a public company now, so I don't know. They were public, 15, 20 years ago now. And I know they they could have made a lot of money when they did it. I don't know how much if they actually cashed out before it went back down.
All right, let's talk about the other two deaths. William Hurt. He's Thaddeus Ross from the Marvel movies, started in Incredible Hulk. He was in a ton of other movies, Body Heat, I think, with Kathleen Turner, I think, back in the day. He was in The Big Chill. I mean, that was 40 years ago at this point. I always thought he was a pretty good actor. He always seemed like one of those guys you go to for a good dramatic role. He was always a go-to guy. I was a little shocked to hear him die because he was in, his early 70s. And again, that goes back to the whole thing about how old is old nowadays relative to how old you are as a person. So I think that was kind of out of nowhere. So he died. Do you guys have any particular memories of any film roles or TV roles of him that stand out to you?
Not too much. Be upset to hear him go. Heard there's a little controversy with him with some other thing with an actress that he was actually dating. Maybe it's a little bit of domestic violence kind of deal stuff. But just basically knew him from the Marvel Hulk movies and the other Marvel Studio movies he was in. Raw, and which kind of sucks because it looks like they were trying to. They're going to go on two tracks. I mean, we're going to get probably the Young Avengers, another thing of Avengers, and then maybe the Thunderbolts, which is going to be all the bad guys, U.S. Agent, the new Black Widow, whatever. What's her name?
Yelena,
the actress or whatever.
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh. And it looks like they might be setting up a Thunderbolts, which he would have been, he kind of plays that character is kind of like the Nick Fury of that group or whatever.
Well, they got what's her name in there, so she can kind of fill that role.
Right.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
What's her name?
What's her name?
You knew who I was talking about.
I knew who you're talking about. And then the other one, not shocking. I actually thought she was already dead, but I was mistaken. It's Stella Harris. What?
Damn, that's just messed up.
Well, I thought she was dead.
I didn't watch a lot of. I didn't watch a lot of Seinfeld, but the few I did, she was pretty funny. She was George's mom on Seinfeld. She also did the voice of Mrs. Potato Head in Toy Story.
That's right. Those are the two big things.
I'm a little surprised that you're forgetting one death right now. The Foo Fighters drummer.
Oh yeah, we never talked about.
You would have been all over that,
did we? I forgot we never talked about it because last week we had so much shit to cover with the Oscars and everything. Yeah, that was really shocking. I was in New York when that happened. It was right before I came back, and I've listened to so many interviews with him and Dave Grohl over the years on Stern, like hours at a time, and he just seemed like a dude who really, enjoyed life. And I didn't know he had an overdose in 2001 where he almost died. Maybe did die technically. I don't know. And I didn't know that he wasn't the original drummer for the Foo Fighters. That was interesting to me because I I've been following them from the beginning. When I'll Stick Around came on, they had that weird video with Dave Grohl and whatnot. I just don't remember the other band members besides Dave Grohl. So he wasn't a founding member, but when the dude who I guess started in the band with Dave, it's basically Dave's band, when he left, I think they were touring with Alanis Morissette or knew of it, and Taylor Hawkins was drumming for Alanis. And when Taylor heard about it, Taylor was like, "Yo, dude, I'm the dude. I'm your drummer." And Dave Grohl and him, had a really tight relationship. And, now Dave Grohl has lost, Kurt Cobain, 94, and now Taylor Hawkins in 2022. And it's, and I don't know anything's been finalized. It definitely seems like it was drug related, and that sucks. He
was like only 50, right?
Yeah, he was 50. Yeah. So again, that just puts it in perspective, but I tell Sophie this anytime it comes up. I'll tell my clients, when I go out, I'm like, guys, drugs, you just don't know what's in this stuff, like fentanyl. According to some training I took today, there's not even any heroin in the United States anymore. Now, I don't know if that's accurate. They're saying it's all fentanyl and the carfentanil and, pill variations of opiates or whatnot, opioids. So it's just crazy, man. I feel bad for his family. The band canceled the rest of their appearances. It was weird. It's Facebook's fault with its algorithm and everything. Like 2 days after he died, I got an ad pop up on my Facebook because, it was a Foo Fighters page. And it said, "Hey, watch the guys perform this Sunday at the Grammys," or something. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening anymore. So I figure I would hope their social media team would have, removed that quicker. But it didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, thoughts? Are you guys big Foo Fighters fans? I'm not the biggest fan, but when they got a new single that drops, they usually go on Stern to promote it. I'll listen to it. I bought a few of their albums over the years. Several of their songs, My Hero, Everlong. Those are the big ones for me. The kind of more emotional songs.
No, I'm not a big fan now.
No, I'm neither. I just like I said, I know There Goes My Hero, and that's about it. But I know a lot of people who were, or friends of mine who were kind of big Foo Fighter fans. I've never, but that's never been. I appreciate Dave Grohl. It seems like he's just a top tier musician, been going from band to band. So damn, to lose another band member from drugs or whatever, it just has to suck. But I was never the biggest Foo Fighter fans.
So I had a couple other deaths. I don't know if
sure, go ahead. That's what this section's for, man.
You guys, anybody a fan of The Wanted? I'm not familiar.
Yeah. They say Want You Back.
Parker.
Yeah, he brain tumor.
He passed. Yeah, from a glioblastoma or whatever. The album. I don't know. And then Madeline Albright also died.
Oh yeah, she was. How old is she? 91.
Oh, I didn't. Hold on.
She always seemed like when she
84.
was 84. Dang, really? That's
I would have thought she was older than that.
I thought she was 84 back when she was the first female Secretary of State.
That's funny.
Under Clinton, you think back now, you look back now, and hindsight's always 2020.
You can't say under Clinton. It's during his presidency. Just saying.
I'm the one with the bad jokes. You're saying you can't say under Clinton. Okay. You look back now, because I'm a big fan of the Clinton presidency. And so a lot of the stuff that was accomplished during his presidency, she had a big hand in. So, and throughout the years, she's kind of been that elder statesman role. If people go to her, she always seemed like a very reasonable person and always had her opinions were, they usually fall on my side of the political spectrum, but they usually seemed well thought out and it's not something that she just spat out for no reason. So, it does suck to have someone like that go. But life ends for us all, right? None of us is going to make it out of here alive. Isn't that the joke?
Something like that.
Yeah, man. You guys don't know The Wanted? They sang "I Want You Back." This sun goes down, the stars come out. Na, 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 na.
Okay, I know that song, but
That was big a few years ago, man. So when Sophie was little, that was on the car.
There you go.
But
my kids are forced to listen what I want to in the car, so I don't know what music they might know.
oh, I enjoyed that song though too. I'm not going to put on something I totally hate. I like that. All right. So let's wrap it up for the week. This is Saints last show. Saint, any parting thoughts for the usual Saints audience before you leave for the season?
Just if anyone's listening, thanks for still listening to, three guys talk about, random deaths and other shit. Hopefully come back. Like I said, my schedule is a little more, I pretty much know I'm be gone April, May, June. That's it. And I come back July, and I'm here for July, August, and probably the first week, a little bit of September. Then I go back and finish out the year, September, October, November. So it's been a good stable. I think I'm just going to try to, while I'm gone, if I'm not working, if I get any free time, just try to work on editing, do some things, probably bring back the, a shit ton of shit's coming out. Did I just say a shit ton?
A shit ton of shit.
A shit ton of shows are going to be coming out while I'm gone. Doctor Strange, Obi-Wan, Miss Marvel, The Boys, just tons of stuff I want to see. So I have a lot of stuff to come back. So the USSR is going to come back, but it's definitely not going to come back as the USSR. Just basically a movie and TV show review podcast. Maybe we go with what were we going, the Boondock Suspects? I don't know, but
that's up to you, man. You can talk about it. Did you watch Moon Knight, by the way?
I did.
Jeremy, did you watch Moon Knight?
No, is it a show or a movie?
The show.
This guy saying this guy,
man.
Even though maybe I shouldn't have, because I'm not going to be able to watch. I'm not going to be able to finish it. So it's like, I was just too curious to see how it went, and I really enjoyed the first episode. So I was like, shit.
Yeah,
I like Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, me too. It's interesting, and I don't know the character at all, so I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
Just quick enough that he started out basically as Marvel ripping off of Batman. He was kind of like a rich guy who did. Then some other writers got involved and they completely changed it, where they added a lot more of the Egyptian moon god mysticism, and he has like a split personality. So it's like you never know which personality is in charge of the body. Mark Spector is usually the most common, I guess, the one that you consider like the spy type. But yeah, it's an interesting character. But he originally started off just basically as a Batman ripoff, but it's gone way more magical, way more mystical since then. So
Jeremy, it's on Disney Plus. Give it a shot. It's interesting.
Okay.
No, Saint, actually, I'm doing the math. If you'll only be gone 3 months, you'll probably be back at the very tail end of this season. If we do 37 episodes again, as I plan, we're at 21 with this episode. So 4 more months of shows. Okay. I know Jeremy's looking forward to that with me.
Like I said, this is the first week in April. So like I said, it's pretty much set. I'm just going to the end of June. Hopefully the trip ends. That way I don't have to dip too much. Maybe I can be back, knock on wood, 4th of July. But if it spills a little bit in July, I'll definitely be back the first week of July. So
gotcha. All right. Well, as
you might want to work on some guests.
How about you fucking work on some guests, man? You got one.
I got one.
I've got everyone else.
I've gotten 0.
You're good at it then.
I guess I'm coming in 3rd, but I'll work on some guests. I mean, there's a bunch of, I was like, maybe I should have asked all those black cosplayers, but I don't know. I feel like, would we be like a cosplay interview podcast? I mean, I guess we could go in that direction. Just saying, fuck it. Interviewing cosplayer now.
I'll take whoever, man. I'll take if there's a Klansman that wants to come on and we can just debate their views. That should be fun. Let's go ahead and do that.
You can do that in the next 90 days. Like that's fine. Schedule that for May and June, and I'll be listening.
You think Ramona would come back?
Was that her name?
Romanda.
R.I.P.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
She's still alive.
I wonder if she still listens.
I doubt it. I don't think she listened after that episode, but.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Let's see. Follow us on The Usual Saints on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Go to theusualsaints.com to listen to us wherever, Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of shit. Leave us a 5-star review and a 5-star rating and a review. And we'll read it on the air. But alas, I'm pretty sure we don't have any. I'm going to just check real quick. Let's see. See all The Usual Saints. There's our latest episode, and we have 16 ratings. Is that me? Was the last one? No, I've never rated our show. Maybe I'll rate it 5 stars, and I'll talk about it. All right. So for Saint, who's going to be gone for a little bit, and for Jeremy, and for Vinny, R.I.P., I'm Mike D. Thanks for listening to The Usual Saints.
Peace.
Dumbass.
I think it's always funny to do an R.I.P. Vinny.